Up next on the Forum, we continue our series on suicide prevention and awareness, specifically how and how much to share with your child, teen, or young adult when tragedy hits home. And if you're searching for opportunities to help serve your community, Norfolk's volunteer program could open the door to a whole new world of experiences. Human Services Forum begins right now. Hello and welcome to the Forum. Almost 1 million people worldwide die from suicide every year, yet as a society we find it difficult to talk about it. Well, we're continuing our series on depression and suicide awareness and prevention by examining the way that we communicate with surviving family members, particularly those in the younger age group. Elaine Roberts is founder of Still Standing, a suicide survivor support group, and she's joining us to share with us some of the what she has gleaned and learned, not only from her own experience of losing a family member, but also from a support group that she heads up, because people that come there always bring enlightenment to others. Thank you for joining us again.
Oh, Jan, thank you for having me. It's an issue that we can't talk enough about, because the more we know about it, the more we can prevent it, the more we know the signs of depression. So I know this week we're talking about children. It's upsetting and frightening enough for us as adults to deal with the loss of a loved one, a friend from suicide. But to a child, we have to look at approximate ages, you know, like say the 0 to 3, and this information comes from the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, which your viewers can go on the website and look at afsp.org and get more information. But they talk about a child barely knows, you don't know what death is. And you just keep it simple with that up to age 3 and say, and I'm going to take the word daddy to use throughout, although of course we know that all ages and both genders take their lives, but males tend to more. So I'll say daddy in the case of example. So you would say, daddy has died, but I am here. You want to reassure that child that you are there, comfort them, love on them, and just say, if you have any questions, just ask me. And that's where you leave it with that child. It's recommended age 3 to 6, although this seems very young to talk about it more, because they have a lot of questions. And we believe that the truth is best, but you don't have to over-answer questions, but tell the truth. So you can talk about suicide is really an illness of the brain. So when a 3 or 6-year-old asks, then you can say that daddy died because there were problems with his brain, and that is why. And then it's up to individual parents, families, if they say the word suicide. But of course we want to take the stigma out of the word. We want to think about it the same as we would high blood pressure, heart disease, cancer. And we know that in families where we do have the occurrence of suicide, they are predisposed to it. And so families really need to talk about it, just like any medical history. So the child may say at the grocery store at that age, you know, they say everything. They might say, my daddy killed himself. So be prepared for that if that's what you tell your child. That, and then have an answer, say, for the person that they're probably shocked in the grocery line, and just say, that's right, we're grieving, and then move along. But then they might regress as well to bedwetting, any of them not sleeping well. But I think that if a family, and according to experts in the research, if they deal with it honestly and openly, but not too much information for the age. And you'll know that as a a family member, and I would encourage you to always ask your own therapist for guidance for each individual case.
Now we have children that are, well, they're considered children by law, but they're still not little. They're getting into realizing that they are separate from others and they see the world in increasingly different ways, and getting into their teens, which is a very vulnerable age for children anyway. We'll hear reports from time to time about children, classmates who may have, taken their own lives, and that's tough when you're already going through your own changes to assimilate that kind of information and understand it.
Oh, it creates such chaos and turmoil to find that, like in my daughter's case, Kyla was 15, and she attended Cox High School, and so they quickly had to, the counselors, and to talk to the other teens, and for them to try and understand. But I think it's important, in that understanding, that it is a mental illness, because some people might view, oh, it was selfish. No, it's a mental illness.
Yeah.
And so that education of what it is. So the schools have their ways of dealing with it, which is very important in today's climate. And there's a toolkit on the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention that schools, if they don't have it, they can go to that website and they can get guidance on how to deal with it at schools. And it's never, middle school should be prepared as well to deal with this, unfortunately. And teens can be very angry. They can be very angry if a parent takes their life. And so dealing with that anger is very important for the person who tells it. I had a friend who told Kyla's best friend, but she chose to tell her at the church. Fortunately, she was at the church for an event and got the pastor involved to help her, because she's a single mother and she needed someone to help her tell her daughter. So that is also recommended as well, that if you are comfortable with having another person who is also close to your child be there with you, because you're dealing with it too, and you need that support. You need to talk about a little ahead of time, though, how much you're really going to say. But teenagers are going to ask direct questions, and they're going to want to know the truth. Now, we say the media, we don't want to report how it was done, but of course in your own lives, then with a teen, you would talk about that, because they're going to ask, how did it happen? And I really think that it would be important, this is my opinion, in the home, if I had a teen who lost their parent and it was by something that was easily gotten to by that teen because they are so upset, I would remove it from the house, because people are just not in their right minds at that time. They're just so grief-stricken.
Right. Very delicate, the whole conversation, but it has to begin somewhere, because not talking about it can certainly open the door to all sorts of speculation, which can hurt too. Yes, and we want to create good mental health, and even after a suicide, that needs to be happening within that family. Of course, they're going through their shock and denial and the guilt. That's the other thing with children. Guilt. Did I not clean my room? Is that, younger children? Did I not drink my milk? Is that why? They want to, the younger they are, they're really focused on what does this mean to me? Who's going to take care of me? But a little bit older, it's what did I do? And certainly a teen, maybe there was an argument before. Now they want to blame themselves. So it's very important for them to understand it was not their fault. Yes. Well, one of the things that we wanted to stress during the times that we're talking about this is to repeat what the warning signs, symptoms might be for this. And so we have a breakdown on some of the things and behaviors you may use to help you identify when there are some warning signs. And what we have up here for the signs that is just sort of brief is sleep, or lack thereof, or changes, difficulty concentrating, having constant negative thoughts and not really being able to get off that topic. Your appetite will change. mood changes, definitely, and reckless behavior that might not be common or something that you normally see.
Right.
And someone who questions the value of life. They may even use the word suicide. And this next board that we have up here is a way for you to remember these things. And Elaine, why don't you explain the is path worm, I believe is the phrase that you're using.
Well, this really comes from a site to prevent suicide as well, another site. And it helps people remember, because there's a lot to remember. Ideation. Have they made suicide in their mind something that they think is wonderful? Do they think that will take care of everything? And I think that you can see it sometimes in their drawings, maybe the music they're listening to. Those are ways. Substance abuse. You know, you will find this in teens and young adults and adults. And is that substance abuse increasing? Or many times it can be the smoking of marijuana. You find that. Is that experimentation, or are they trying to self-medicate? P for purposelessness, A, anxiety, trap, H, hopelessness. Then there's the warm. Withdrawal, anger, recklessness, mood changes. So if you can memorize those, keep a card with you, understand, know what to look at, then you can get help. And you need to get help immediately if they're showing signs that they are in immediate danger. And ask the question, are you thinking about suicide? Don't be afraid to ask it. If they say yes, second question, do you have a plan? Do not leave that. If they say yes, do not leave that person. And talking about it will not cause it. And I mean, quickly talk about young adults and adults. There could be some, after they've lost a sibling, there may even be rivalry after the death of their sibling. Not in all cases, but I've seen it, because the parents they're all grieving for that child, and the other one that's still alive is grieving as well. But what about me?
Right.
What about me? So you have to be very aware of that, and I think a therapist and a support group can help you with that.
Okay, great. And Elaine does provide the support group for suicide survivors. And she will be on the show in the future too, to talk about other aspects of this. It's always good to talk to you, Elaine. We talk about things that many do not speak about, but they certainly aren't forbidden. It's just that we need to continue to talk about it so that it's easier to talk about as time goes on, and you never know what the impact will be.
Save a life.
That's right. So thank you, Elaine, and we'll see you later. Well, don't go away, because if you are looking for some ways to contribute your time, your energy, your know-how to the community, then the City of Norfolk's volunteer program may be just the ticket. We'll be right back.
Have you heard? The U.S. Treasury is phasing out paper checks for Social Security, VA, and other federal benefit payments and going electronic. If you currently receive federal benefits by paper check, you will need to switch to direct deposit or to the Treasury recommended Direct Express Debit MasterCard. If you plan to apply for federal benefits soon, you'll want to decide which electronic payment option is right for you. Visit godirect.org to learn more or to make the switch today.
I know, 2 seconds. Hang on, just stand still. Stand still. This is insane. 1 second. I know. Just I know. He's done. Okay, go, go, go. No. Boys, hang on, boys.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of children in foster care who will take you just as you are.
Do you feel the desire to give something back to your community? Volunteer opportunities abound in the City of Norfolk. To find out how to get involved and who to call, please welcome Pamela Marino, who is the manager of Norfolk's Bureau of Neighborhood Enrichment. We also have Lisa Renee Jennings, who is with Keep Norfolk Beautiful. So I think we've got two perfect people here to tell you a little bit about what volunteering really is all about and how that's meaningful to our community and others, and also specifically the city of Norfolk. Well, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Volunteering, we get calls, I know other departments do, from people, residents and people that may not even be residents, but they just are interested in getting involved and helping somebody or something in the community. Well, the military would be one of them as well, because of their presence. So, Pamela, the desire for volunteering is pretty large once you really tap into it.
Yes, it is. And the City of Norfolk welcomes anybody to call and volunteer. We have a lot of different ways that people can help the city. We have, actually, it's called Volunteer Norfolk, which is a program that's in the Community Enrichment Bureau. And you can find out more about it by going on Norfolk's website and going to the Community Enrichment page. Okay. But basically, it's a clearinghouse for the city. So all the different departments in the city that have opportunities for volunteers give their information to Melinda, who mans up that program.
That's her phone number you saw on the screen there.
That's
Melinda.
right. And so you can call her or email her, and through that program, she will connect you with what your interests are. So you could volunteer for the Parks and Rec Department, or you could volunteer for Keep Norfolk Beautiful, which is why we happen to have Lisa Renee here, and she has a lot of volunteer opportunities I'm sure she can go into more detail about. But before she starts talking about that, also in a more informal setting, we encourage people to join their civic leagues, other community groups, and so they don't even need to come through the city if they don't want to. They can just look around their own neighborhoods. And that's an initiative that we're rolling out, which is Neighbors Building Neighborhoods. We are really encouraging people to just volunteer in their own community. You could do something formal like join a civic league, or you could do just a very small act of kindness, help your neighbor take in their garbage can at the end of the day.
Yeah, little things
that's
like that.
That's a volunteer. That's an act
yeah.
of volunteering as well.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good way to look at it. So you've given us a number of perspectives on what a volunteer is all about,
right?
And doesn't have one strict definition.
That's right.
Keep Norfolk Beautiful is quite a campaign in and of itself, and it looks like you're doing a pretty good job because we do have a beautiful city.
Great. I'm glad you think so.
I think so, and I know it takes a lot of work.
It does. It does. We have the privilege of working with over 5,000 volunteers a year.
Wow.
With Keep Norfolk Beautiful, whether it be through our Adopt-A-Spot programs, the Great American Cleanup throughout the spring, Clean the Bay Day, or folks coming in as individuals helping us around the office, filing or helping us organize supplies. There's a lot of, as you can imagine, trash bags and gloves involved in community cleanups. In fact, I've got a great volunteer, I'll give a shout out to Cindy, coming in every Tuesday morning before she goes to school and helping us with whatever the day may bring for us.
And is Cindy a student or a teacher?
She is a student, has gone back to school, and is a student at ODU. So it could really be as small as that to as large as being a zone captain for Clean the Bay Day, which is organizing, you are in charge of organizing other volunteers.
And that's a very big event in and of itself, isn't it?
It is, and Norfolk is proud to be the headquarters for Clean the Bay Day right here.
Hey,
so.
Well, then we've got a lot of bay to clean, and a lot of tributaries too.
We do, that's right, it's a lot of water.
Yeah.
They say those that can do, and those that can do more volunteer. So we have a lot of that going on.
You're rallying cry. You know, one of the things, you mentioned Adopt-A-Spot, and we do see signs for that. Tell us a little bit about what that is, because the sign itself may not give all the information.
It may not, you're right. So the Adopt-A-Spot program, we actually have over 140 in the city currently.
Spots
and streets. A spot would be a location, so it may be a park or a school grounds, whereas a street is a mile in length.
Okay.
So those folks have their own group. You see their name on their sign. Right. The minimum they do is 4 times a year in that spot or street.
And what do they do?
They clean, they do litter pickup. Simply as that. So we supply them with gloves and bags, and they go out usually on a Saturday morning and clean their spot, and they're quite proud of it. So it's a really great program for the city. It certainly helps us out a lot.
Oh, and it's a great source of pride for people who have their name posted on the sign.
I think it's also a good team building for whatever organization gets involved. I know high schools will do it, Or you mentioned military. At least, Renee, don't we have a lot of...
we have a lot of military groups
military that
that have
volunteer.
Adopt-A-Spots, absolutely, and Adopt-A
And other sort of, like Clean the Bay Day?
Clean the Bay Day, all throughout any of the programs we have a lot of volunteer support for the military. And it's amazing to me because they already do so much,
Right. Yeah,
and
they're
then
already
yet
doing
they
so
come
much.
out and do more. Just 2 weeks ago, I had 140 men and women from the USS Harry Truman out in our Eco Garden around the Ernie Morgan Center, and just did a fabulous job, and we are very thankful to them for doing so.
Oh, that's just wonderful. Wow. Well, you mentioned there was the center there, but we have Parks and, Parks and Recreation is what most people
Right.
would know what we're talking about, but there are also volunteer opportunities within that. Would that be more in cleanup, or would it be within programs that are offered?
I don't know the specifics of what the volunteer details would be, and again, if you went to either called that number or went on the website, we could match your skills up. I do know that there's volunteers, I think, that are in the cemeteries helping keep things straight there.
Right.
I wanted to mention another thing to you. You know, when we talk about volunteerism, it's not just giving back to the community; it also builds you up. You know, it just you feel good out there helping others. But also it can help your career. I got my career started as a volunteer.
Really?
Many years ago, volunteering for the Cousteau Society when I moved here, and it just sort of started me on that path. And I know that Lisa Renee started her career at the Keep Norfolk Beautiful as a volunteer also. So, you know, in this time when we're trying to get experience and jobs are a little harder to find, volunteering is a really good way to get your foot in the door and learn something.
You learn something. You also meet other people who want to volunteer and perhaps learn something too, and may have similar interests.
Right. It's a good networking opportunity, and it's a good way to expand your group of friends.
All right. So
it's a
now we
win-win.
have Nauticus, which is another one of the areas that may have some volunteer opportunities.
That's
as
right.
well.
And the libraries as
The
well.
libraries.
The libraries. Wow. See, I
And the
can-
rec centers. There was, I think, just an article in the paper recently about somebody who had volunteered at the Lamberts Point Rec Center for a long time.
All right. And they're
Made a big difference in all the children's lives.
wow. Well, and there are plenty of rec centers too.
Yes.
And it's, you know, and they do need more than just the help from the city staff. They
Sure.
need to have the community care about them, which is, I guess, what that's all about.
That's right.
So you get back what you give. In a
Many
much
times
better way.
over.
Yeah, and it makes your community just a better place also. I mean, that gets back to what we were talking about with neighbors building neighborhoods, that, you know, that little, you pick up the trash in front of your house and your neighbor's house, and you help your elderly neighbor take their garbage can in. It just, it's sort of that, it builds synergy, and, you know, people in the neighborhood start taking better care of each other and keeping an eye on each other, and I think it just makes for a stronger neighborhood.
It does, and you know, our times, it sounds rather trite, but times have changed, and people and neighbors don't relate to one another the way they used to,
Right.
because our lives are structured so differently, and things happen so quickly that we can become isolated, despite the fact that we have so many ways to communicate.
That's right.
This sounds like a great way, whether with the program on Neighbors Building Neighborhoods or the overall volunteering aspect, to kind of bridge that divide that seems to have been created
Right. It keeps
gradually.
us-
But it's, you know, it would also seem that would make your neighborhoods feel safer.
Definitely safer, and that's another thing you can volunteer for. Is you know, they have block watches or safety watches. You know, if that's an aspect that you're interested in, and again, we encourage people to go to their civic leagues, or if you don't have a civic league, start one. And the city is working on a program to help teach people how to start a civic league or reactivate your civic league if it hasn't been active recently. So we have the tools. Basically, the city's got the tools to help you do what you want to do to get out there and build up your community.
Okay, so how to start a civic league? That'd be great information. And particularly if your excuse for not doing is that, well, I don't know how.
Right. Well, I just was on a steering committee last weekend where we started talking about that. What do we need to put in our toolkit that we offer to the citizens so that we can basically help them do that? And it was a steering committee of successful participants in civic leagues that came in and said, you know, some people had just started a civic league and this is what we went through. Some people had had a civic league that had been going on for a long time. And it was a great brain trust of people in this room, and they all are contributing. And it's an ongoing committee where we're working on what do we need to put together to to help our citizens have a toolkit. So if you are in a neighborhood that doesn't have a strong civic league, here's what you have to. Here's how you get it going.
Okay, great to know. And Keep Norfolk Beautiful has its programs throughout the year. What's coming up next?
We are gearing up for planning for spring already, actually.
Wait a minute now.
It's a huge undertaking. We always have a Keep Norfolk Beautiful Day, normally around the Earth Day time.
Yeah.
So we are already starting to plan and look to that. And we too can teach. If you've never had a cleanup before, if you've never had any kind of adopt a spot or done anything like that, we will teach you how to do it, safety training, the tools you necessary to do it. So if all you need is the desire, and we can help you.
Wow. And all you have to do is call this number, and Miss Melinda will answer the phone and steer you in the right direction.
Exactly.
And she may also be able to fill you in on some other programs that are volunteer opportunities that we haven't discussed here, because I think there probably are more than we could possibly find time to talk about. But just bringing up the subject is great, and I think a lot of people could start, things could start whirling around their heads. It's like, what could I do? Why don't I call and ask?
Yes.
Well, great. Well, good luck on the next spring. But I know you do have to start early with all of that. And Pamela, I know that the volunteer effort it'll be nice to have people to be able to go to a place and say, okay, what can I do?
Right.
Well, here's who you call and find out more. And we know that'll probably grow with time, because volunteers are a very necessary part of keeping our whole community going forward.
That's exactly
Absolutely.
right.
And we just don't have the money for everything.
No.
No.
But sometimes you can't put a price on the knowledge and skill that people have.
And the connections.
Yes, yes, absolutely. The connections are probably key to everything.
Yes.
Thanks for coming aboard and sharing
Thanks
a
for
great,
giving us
great
the
information.
opportunity.
Really, it's really good. All right.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us. We'll see you again next time. Bye.